Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So for today's video, I'm just gonna come do a quick voiceover for today's set. And right now I am just picking out my nail sizes that I'm gonna be using. Today's set is going to be a really long square, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick them out, make sure they fit sidewall to sidewall. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use some base coat gel and my king light to apply them. I used to be really big on using nail glue to apply my nail tips, but ever since brands have been sending me like the little flash curing lights, and whenever I use them, it kind of just became a habit into like my routine. So yeah, now I just use base coat and apply them as if I'm applying some gel X nails, but of course they go only on the tip. And I'm gonna do this until I have all of my nails applied. I will put them in a bigger light just to make sure that they are fully cured to my nails, and then of course clip them down and we can get into the application. And here's what the nails look like after I have cut them down. I didn't cut them down much at all. I did want them to be really long still, so I just cut off the tips of the nails for the most part. I am going to be doing some acrylic nails today, and I'm going to be using this acrylic here from Makartt Pro, which is called Rainforest, and it is such a like really glittery green. I'm also going to be using this nude here from notpolish, which is one of my favorite go-to nudes. It's called Nude Panther, and I'm going to be using these two colors to start off to do an ombre. But before I actually get into the application, I am going to be using some of bombnails crystal clear, and I'm just going to be using a really tiny bead and just apply it over where I glued on my nail tips. If you are new here, I use a peel off base coat a lot when I'm recording, and sometimes the nails do pop off when I file, so adding a bead of clear right here is just going to reinforce it. Since these nails are really long, I will be adding a lot more pressure towards the tip, so it's just going to make them a little bit stronger so they won't pop off during the filing process. And you can actually use this technique to make your nails last longer even when you are not using a peel off base. Like the clear is just a lot stronger, so like it just holds the tip on longer to the nails, if that makes sense. So this is not only something you can do just with a peel off base. Right when I'm done adding on that bead of clear, I'm going to go in with that Rainforest glitter green, and I'm just going to be applying it to the tips of my index nail and my ring finger. And then I'm also going to go in with a full coverage of this green over on my pinky nail. I don't plan to talk through the whole thing, but I did just want to kind of give a little bit of insight with the products that I'm using. So this here is I remember getting this green acrylic from one of Makartt Your Nail Lab boxes. And this green is so pretty. I really love how it looks. However, when it comes to actually using it, it is kind of difficult because the glitter in here isn't just like the normal type of glitter. It is like that really fine holographic, like, I don't know, it's just like really glittery. And as you can tell from my brush, and sometimes you will see like the paper towel that I'm using to wipe my brush on, this glitter is really messy, and I feel like I do have to work with it in wetter beads because otherwise it's just gonna be a really big glitter glob on my nails. So you will see me adding like a lot more monomer to it just so that I'm able to spread it over the entire nail. But once I do spread it over the entire nail, I try to let it set up just a little bit more before I go to brush it, because if not, I am just gonna wipe away all of that product off my nail. Like that's how easy it is to like move this product out of place. It's definitely not like any other glitters I've used. It's not hard to use, but it's also challenging if you haven't worked with glitters, if that makes sense. But I was able to apply it where and how I wanted it. So yeah, I'm gonna do the tips of those two nails, and then I'm also gonna do a full coverage on my pinky. After I'm done getting on all of my green, once I'm done with my pinky nail, I am going to go back to that crystal clear, and I'm basically going to be doing the same thing I did before I even started my application. I'm just going to be taking a really small bead of that clear and placing it right where I'm going to blend the ombre. And the reason I do this, I did learn this from someone else, and it's actually a really helpful tip, especially if you struggle with getting like that perfect ombre, or in this case, since I do have the tip of my nails like glitter, you know, glitter isn't like the smoothest surface, so whenever I would try to ombre it down, it would just become like really bumpy, and I can't really get that ombre as smooth as I want it to look. So adding some clear on top of it is just gonna encapsulate it a little bit, make that surface a little bit more smoother, so when I go in with the nude acrylic, it'll be easier and it's gonna give me a smoother ombre look. And as you can see, this is how the ombres are turning out. The clear on top of that glitter definitely help because they are really smooth. I love the transition between both of the colors. And it's really effortless. Not Polish has some great powders anyways, so it just felt really effortless if I'm honest. Now that I'm done with my ombres, I am gonna use that nude to do a full coverage over on my middle finger. This was kind of tricky. I feel like my middle finger always turns out a lot thicker than the rest. I don't know why. Maybe I should try to size down like the nail tip, but then it fits really weird like from side to side when I'm sizing them out. The nail did still match like the entire nail set, like it wasn't big awkward like, but I don't know, I just feel like sometimes it does come out a little bit thicker, like wider, and then I do have to make sure to file it down. And I do spend a little bit extra time on my middle finger when I filed to slim it down a little bit so it's almost like the other nails. And this is pretty much what the application looks like. I didn't do my thumb. My thumb is just gonna end up being just like my pinky, so off camera I did just go ahead and do a full coat coverage of that green glitter once again. So now it's time to encapsulate everything. I did go ahead and switch out my monomer for some clean one, make sure I remove all of that glitter that was in the bottom of my damping dish. I got rid of that brush I was using for the glitter application, and I got a different bigger brush. The one I'm using now is from notpolish, which is a lot bigger than the other one I was using. Since these nails are really long and I want this clear over the entire nail, I did get this bigger brush so that it doesn't take me as long compared to using a smaller brush. I'm not going to show all of my encapsulation on camera, just this one nail. I'm also going to file, shape, and buff off camera to save some time, and then once I finish encapsulating this one on camera, we can jump into the actual nail art. So like I said before, after the application of all of my nails, I did go ahead and shape, file, and buff. This is what they look like. I do have a little bit of like dust still around my cuticle areas, so I am going to take some alcohol and just remove it really quick. After that, I'm going to jump straight into some nail art, which is going to be really simple. I took some white gel polish and one of my favorite liner brushes from nailsbydev, and I'm just going to do a really long French tip on this one. After getting my smile lines and sidewalls mapped out, I am going to go ahead and use the brush from the bottle and just fill in the rest of this and get that cured. I also did a second coat of the white off camera just because I wanted it to look a little bit more smoother. I didn't show it on camera though, but just know that I did. And now I'm going to take this green here from Kara Sky. This was actually the color I wanted the green ombre glitter to be, but that was the only glitter green that I had, so I just had to work with it as it was. But I definitely would have liked this whole entire nail set better if I could get that green glitter for my ombre nails to look as dark as this green I'm about to use. For this green that I'm using, I am going to do like some little leaves or like some little petals for some mistletoe nails. It's going to be a 3D mistletoe, and I am using a 3D nail art brush from Crafts by 9. This is actually a really good brush to use. I should have did these a little bit bigger, but I still like how they turned out. There's nothing really special about trying to make these petals. I am just making them look like leaves because honestly that's just about all I could do anyway. But when I pick up a bead, At first, the bead just looks really dry, but I am tapping the brush so that the monomer mixes very well before I place it on the nail, and that's going to give it the best result, because you want it to be like really smooth. You don't want to have to try to work with it throughout the whole entire thing. One thing was challenging is picking up enough. I feel like I should have did these a little bit bigger, but like I said, I still like the outcome anyway, because once I put the berries in the center, the whole thing just came together perfectly. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. And the way I end up doing the berries were very interesting, so I'll let you guys watch me do this last petal here, and then I'll come back to explain that process. Initially for this mistletoe petal, or like the leaves for it, I actually wanted to use that glitter green, but there's just no way that formula for the glitter powder was gonna allow me to form them as petals. So what I did was I did just use that dark green for the base, and I'm just going back over it with like just a little bit of that glitter to make it glittery how I want it. It didn't turn out exactly how I wanted, but it was pretty decent still. And then I just gave that a little bit of time to dry first before going in with more acrylic. For my berries, at first I did go in with this red here, and I'm just picking up really small beads the same way I was doing for the petals, and I'm just placing them right in the center. This first one here came out really good, and I thought I wouldn't have any problems with using this. I knew it was gonna take some time though, because it was really cold and the monomer wasn't allowing the beads to set up fast enough. And at the time I didn't really think about using my monomer enhancer that makes the monomer set up faster. I didn't think about it. So when I placed on the second bead, it just ended up blending together, and the whole form, like, they just weren't even circles anymore. So I ended up taking that off the nail as best I could without the red smudging. And the way I am gonna do it is I got these little teeny tiny pearls and I placed it on some of the putty using a nail stand, and I'm just gonna use some red gel polish to paint over them, so that way when I place them on my nail, they are gonna be the perfect size, perfect little circles, and also I don't have to wait for the monomer to set up or try to scope them out. This way was just a lot easier. And I am just doing 3 as you see here. I'm just gonna coat them with the red gel polish, cure them, and then place them in the center of that mistletoe. After getting the berries in the center cured, which looks so good by the way, I was so happy that I end up using the pearls instead of trying to scope them out because they just look so much better and so defined. I love how perfect they look. Once I got those flash cured in the center, I am going to go around the petals, like in between them, and add some of these little gold caviar beads just to add that little festive type of look to it. And after I cure on the caviar beads, I'm going to go over this entire nail with a matte top coat and give that a cure. I didn't really know what to do over on this solid glitter nail. I didn't know if I wanted to add any nail art, but in the end I just end up doing 3 different types of snowflakes. So you'll see me just do that quickly here. After that, I'm going to go over all of the rest of my nails with a glossy top coat. I'm going to be adding on some gold rhinestones along the cuticle areas of my ombre nails. And that's pretty much it for this design. So I will just go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of this play out. If you have been enjoying today's video so far, you can let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you haven't already, or just leaving a simple comment down below. And I'll be back once I finish adding on the other small touches to the nails so we can see how it turned out. camera, I did just end up doing the same thing I did for my pinky nail for my thumb, since they were both like a solid glitter nail. Like I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for them really, but I feel like that was a good nail filler because I love drawing snowflakes on the nails. They are so beginner friendly. But now that I'm done with all of my nails, I am going to add some cuticle oil and rub that in. Once I finish rubbing that in, this is how the finished set looks. And I really love how the entire set came out. I feel like these were really simple, but the green just give it like that pop that it needs, especially with it being super glittery. One thing I would change, if I could make this green just a little bit darker, I would. That's kind of the only thing that's like throwing me off, but other than that, I really love how everything else turned out. I love how easy the ombres were. They turned out really great. And I really love the touches of gold to this set. I feel like it adds like that perfect festive look. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I love the outcome. I will leave everything I used down below. Let me know what you thought about today's set, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.